So both this video and my next video were extremely unplanned. I had originally planned for 2 different videos to go up, but then we hit 100,000 subscribers, as I'm sure many of you have noticed, and that's insane. I had absolutely no time to prepare. Like I said in my last video, I had different videos planned for a 100,000 subscriber celebration, which is this video, and then also my next video. Both this video and my next video were, I don't want to say rushed, but I had to kind of throw everything out the window in order for me to work on this, so that's what these are. If you're watching this the day it's uploaded, I hope you can forgive me for posting it a little bit late, and if you are watching it later, then don't even worry about it. Just forget I said anything. But I just wanted to take a minute before the actual video starts to give a really big thank you. I am absolutely blown away, astonished, surprised at how many people are interested in me, in my art, my content. I don't know. I never really thought of my art as anything special. I never thought of me as being anything special or what I've done on the internet. But despite what I personally think, a lot of people have found my content and connected with it, which is insane. 100,000 people thought that my content was at least entertaining enough to stick around, and at most something that they look forward to every Wednesday, that they can find comfort and inspiration in, which is, I mean, it really means a lot to me. Growing up, YouTube was always kind of an escape for me, and I guess even now, it still kind of is, just in a different way. Growing up, I would always go to my favorite YouTubers and watch their videos and find comfort in them, and find inspiration in them, and just find some joy when everything else seemed like crap. And even now, like, on the reverse end of things, now that I'm, like, posting content, I don't talk a lot about, like, specific events that are happening in my life, but throughout my time I'm posting on YouTube, there's some shit that's happened. But, you know, I've had some pretty big highs and low lows, I guess, throughout the time of me posting on YouTube. And whether you guys know it or not, you guys watching my content and just appreciating me and each other has always just, it's been a wonderful thing in my life, and it's not something that I would ever trade for the world. I'm super grateful for all of your love and support. I'm super grateful for this community that we've all built together, and I hope that you guys are just as excited and happy as I am. There's still so much that I am planning on posting, both here on YouTube, other places, like my comic that I keep mentioning and haven't posted yet. But the best has absolutely not even come yet, so I hope that you are super excited to see the future of this channel with me. I hope that you stick around. Anyways, as a way to give back to you guys, I do the one thing I'm good at, which is drawing. So I hope you enjoy this video of me drawing your OCs. Let's get to it. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're doing well. I didn't find an opportunity to say that before this point, but I felt weird not saying it, so there we go. So if you don't follow me anywhere else, or if you just casually watch my YouTube videos, basically what this is, I wanted to give back to you guys a little bit for letting me get this far in my YouTube career. As a way to say thank you for 100,000 subscribers, I wanted to draw a bunch of your guys' OCs. Now, first off, I want to say, you guys have a lot of cool characters, and I wish I could do more than 5, honestly. The reason this video is late is because I decided to do 5. I thought about making only 3, but then I was like, no, you guys deserve more than that. But even so, I do wish that I could make art for every single one of you, but if that were the case, then all I would be doing is drawing art for you guys, which wouldn't be a bad thing, but that's not what pays my bills. So all of these are picked from the hashtag I made on Instagram. I picked all of them randomly. None of them were picked from, like, the character design or art skill. The last time I hosted an event like this at 50,000 subscribers, a lot of people were reluctant to enter because they thought it was based off of skill. Whenever I do, like, I guess an art raffle, art giveaway, whatever you would call this, whenever I do something like this, the ones I pick are completely random. So just wanted to say that really quick. And first off, we have this, whoops, I just smacked my keyboard. We have this character by J Shrugged. That's what I wrote for the file name, so I'm assuming that's the username. But here's this character. I wanted to avoid doing full bodies for time's sake, efficiency's sake, but the moment I saw this character, I really wanted to do a full body because of the tail and the feet. I just really wanted to make, like, a crouching pose. I don't know if that logic make sense to anybody, but like just the long tail and like the big chunky monster feet, I was like, yes, crouching pose. So I really, really wanted to do that for this one. When I was blocking out the pose, I had such a hard time with, it's alright, the character's left, that arm. Holy fuck, it was a time. Originally I had her arm just like on her knee and like going forward, but I just couldn't get the angle to look right. And you probably have seen me sketching it a bazillion jillion times because shit man, I couldn't do it. In the end I decided on this one where she's kind of, I don't know exactly where she's pointing, but she is pointing. I don't know why I decided to make that the pose, but it's just, it works, so we're moving on. The character itself, I had a lot of fun drawing. I really like drawing these types of characters where they're mostly human, but have non-human elements. So like the ears and the horns, the feet, the tail, it was such a fun time. I think that this was a really great one to start with because the character design itself is like, if you compare it to like my characters, the design itself is more on the simple side, yet at the same time, the word that's popping into my head is iconic, but I don't think that's what I want. It stands out. So I think that that was a really great one because I didn't have to worry myself with capturing too many details, but also at the same time I got to draw a character that was really fun. So yeah. You probably have noticed or will notice or are currently noticing, depending on where this audio clip ends up in the speed paint. I messed around with the colors a little bit. Now, I don't want to change character colors a whole lot. Basically, I wanted the colors to still look like the characters, but just make them into something a little bit more that like I would draw in my art, because this is my art. And basically the overall color palette was just a little bit darker than something that I would normally go for. But to avoid changing like the character's like color palette, I would put down all of the colors first and then change all of the colors as a unit. That way I avoid anything like changing clothing color, changing skin tone, changing hair color, anything like that. That way like everything is being changed in unison, so it's still like they still go together the same way that the original artist intended it to, you know? For all of these drawings I have like, I do my typical art thing where it's not a background, but it's just things in the background. I don't think it's as interesting to have a character just in a white void, but then also at the same time drawing backgrounds is a bit of a hassle. So for this one I just put in random shapes, as I often do. I don't know, I don't really know honestly what made me go with this, but it's here. I had a lot of fun with this one, and even though I wanted to stay away from full bodies, I'm really happy that I did one for this one, just because I think that it suits the character. I don't know a lot about this character, but I thought that this sort of pose and just I thought that this sort of like smug smile suited the character. I don't know your character, so correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what came to mind. Overall, I think that it was a really solid start to all of this. Thank you for submitting your character. I had a lot of fun drawing them. The moment I picked this next character, I got so excited to draw them. Again, we have the not quite human aspect, which I love oh so much. But also, look at them. They're the babiest, and I love them. It's got the fluffy hair, the cropped shirt. Love it. Mwah, chef kiss. Whenever I see a character like this where they have sort of dragony wings and like little ears, I always imagine just like the hand claw pose. So that's what I did here. I'm not very good at drawing it, mind you, but it's just what I think of, so I did it. Whenever a drawing isn't a full body, I always feel the need to do something interesting with the arms and a more interesting face to look at, just because there isn't a full like body and like a full movement, I guess, for you to look at. I always feel the need to like push expressions a little bit more and just do something with the hands. My god, just put those hands somewhere. So that's what I did here. In the reference picture that this person posted, merch uwu. The picture that the artist posted, there was a lollipop, and I debated putting a lollipop in the picture, but honestly, the only poses that I could really think of that would incorporate that would just make it seem more like a picture redraw more than an original thing that I made, so I decided to not go with that and to go with this. I feel like the hands they're almost there. Like, they're not bad, but like, they're not good. I did my best. I swear, like, I'm gonna practice hands soon, you guys. I promise you. I'm gonna do that, like, sketch vlog series where I practice shit. I haven't done it. I'm gonna do it. I promise. Just, it wasn't today, so my hands still look like this. I debated whether or not I wanted their tongue to be sticking out because, on one hand, adorable. On the other hand, I don't know if it really goes with the rest of it, but as you can see, I decided to go with it. Because adorable. One thing that always makes me nervous about drawing other people's original characters is that sometimes, like, there's a certain aspect of the drawing that you're referencing from the original artist, and it's hard to tell sometimes if something is just a part of their art style or a part of a character's design, if that makes any sense. Like, for example, I drew this character with freckles, and I don't know if the original character was intended to have freckles, because I don't know if this character is, like, a dragon or some sort of like other thing that's like a dragon. What I'm trying to say is I also had the thought that they could be like scales or something on their face, but I gave them freckles because I had no idea. For all of these, I probably should have looked at people's accounts to try and find other reference images of the characters, but I didn't, so I'm just doing my best here, man. I mean, I figured it's not, like, they look fine. It looks like the character, so that's all that matters. This one was a little bit harder to pick the colors for because the original reference image was a traditional piece. The last one was a digital piece of art, and the artist actually color swatched, so I was able to just take those directly and then adjust the whole color scheme as a whole to something that I would make. But this one, it was traditional art, so really I just had to hope for the best. I would always start by eyedropping the original drawing and then kind of go from there and like build up the colors to make it look kind of like it, but the problem with that is that there's a lot about the original picture that I don't know. For one, like lighting. The lighting in the room can be brighter, it can be darker, the light can have more of an orange hue, it can be more white, there's a lot, so I had a bit of difficulty, but in the end I think I made out okay. I think the hardest part for me in this drawing was definitely the wings, not necessarily because I had a hard time drawing what they look like, but mostly just fitting them on the canvas size. I wanted all of them to be in a square format just because that's easier to post to Instagram, if I'm being completely honest. But also, with wings like this, it's hard to make them fit, so I hope I did an okay job. In the end, I think I could have probably done something a little bit better. I think I could have handled it I think I could have found a better solution. But here we are. There it is. I had a lot of fun in the sketching phase in this, I remember, just because the character is so adorable. There's a lot of aspects about this character that I love design-wise, like the floofy hair and like the shirt style. It's just something that I really love. And from what I can tell, this character also seems a little bit more on the petite side, which is also something that I draw a lot because I'm short. But overall, I had a lot of fun drawing this character. And then for the background element in this one, I actually took inspiration from the drawing that the artist provided. I decided to just go with like an orangey yellowish gradient in the background with little sparkles, and then boom, a drawing. I hope you like it. I had a lot of fun drawing your character, and thank you so much for submitting. Next up, we have this character from Gears and Tea. I think that's the username. For this one, I actually took a little bit of pose inspiration from the original drawing. Of course, I wanted to avoid just redrawing the pictures that you guys submitted, so I did make it my own. I changed the angle, changed like the posing a little bit, but I really liked the pose in the original. I thought it was super funky and I loved it. My drawing is less funky, but I still like it. I thought it was fun. I feel like for every single one of these drawings so far, I've said that there's a lot of design elements in this character that I love, and that's true for this one, but I can't help it, god damn it. You guys' characters are cute. Immediately I just fell in love with this character because I love the color scheme, firstly. I think that those colors look super, super nice together, and also I think it's very interesting because I think that there's a lot about this character that I guess you see in other characters. Like, I know space buns are quite popular. This style of like varsity jackets are quite popular, but also at the same time there's a lot about them that's just, it's it's different from those things, you know? Like I don't know if that made any sense. There's a lot of commonly seen design elements from people's OCs online, but it's like the varsity jacket is like two-tone, and also their eyes are completely blacked out, and like the pattern on the cheeks, and it's so fun. I originally had the pose a lot more symmetrical, but in the end I decided to raise one of the hands up and decided to tilt the head slightly. I don't know why my instinct is to always go for a symmetrical pose, but a lot of the time when that is my instinct and I start drawing that, I change it. Symmetry is something you generally want to actually avoid. Sometimes it's good, like if you're drawing a face, you want the eyes to be the same size, but generally symmetry is something that can feel very unnatural. Typically, when things are more organic, like people, they tend to be a lot less symmetrical because they're not perfect. They're not like perfect beings. They're not made to look symmetrical or pose symmetrically or do anything symmetrically. So I decided to change it. And I think that overall it's just a much more interesting thing to look at. Just like the first one, I ended up tweaking the colors slightly, but again, I just try not to do that. Just because, like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, like, my mindset. Obviously I want the colors to be generally the same as the original artist had them. So it's just the minor tweaking. Hope y'all don't mind. I guess like the entire drawings that I'm making in this video, they're all sort of my interpretation of your characters, just like when you guys draw my characters, it's your interpretation of them. And I guess to an extent that includes color palette. I'm not going to change like the entire character's color palette, but just, it was mostly, I think it's called luminescence, basically just changing like the brightness ever so slightly. I don't know, I tend to gravitate towards like super bright and saturated colors and also fairly light colors, so even when there are parts of a drawing that are a lot more dark than I would typically go for, I try and change them just a little bit to just my own spin, a little bit of spice. I also believe I changed the facial expression last minute. I think both of the eyes were closed, but in the end I decided to go for more of a wink because I've never drawn a character with blacked out eyes before, and I really wanted to do that. That's one of the things I think about this character that stands out the most, and I think that it just would have been a missed opportunity if I didn't include that, so I changed it at the last minute to make it that. And then also, like, the yellow dots that's all over the character's body. For the ones on the face, I just drew them, but then for the rest of them, like on the shoulders, I went for freckly stuff. I just realized the first three characters all have like a freckle-like thing to them. But we can ignore that. I'm not exactly sure what they're supposed to be, I guess. They're not exactly freckles since they're like a bright yellow, but the ones on the face seemed a lot more specifically placed, I guess, because there's the 3 dots in the corner of each eyes, so I figured those ones I'll draw manually, and then the other ones I will just use my freckle brush and just splash them all over there. I thought about drawing them in manually, but I got lazy, so I didn't. And then for the background elements for this picture, I actually took inspiration from the character's tall socks. I really liked the tall socks, but again, mostly for time purposes and my own sanity, I tried to avoid doing full bodies, but I thought that the socks were really fun, so I wanted to incorporate them in some way. So I color swatched them, made some stripes in the background, and then to make the character pop out of the background a little bit more, I added that like circle and like a white outline across all of it, just to make it a little more fun. Overall, I really love this character, and I hope you do too, person. I hope you like the drawing. I love your character. Thank you for submitting. Next up, we got this character from Me Birdie Arts. I'm really bad at reading usernames. Well, that's character. I'm just gonna say right off the bat, I have no idea where this pose and expression came from. I think a part of it was just like, I had this specific way I wanted to draw the ears. With characters like tall ears like this, I always think it's really fun to draw one a lot more straight up and the other one a lot more lopsided. And I guess this sort of posing just fit in with how the ears would look. I don't know if that made any sense. But basically, I guess my mindset was if they had this sort of like facial expression and this sort of pose, then the ears would be positioned as such. So that's what I did. I don't know if this is in character for this character, but that's what I did. Just like the last one, I really was drawn into the color scheme in this one. Out of all of the complementary colors, orange and blue are my absolute favorite, and so the blue jacket sweater thing combined with like the scarlety hair, I was pumped! I just got really, really excited. It's one of my favorite color combinations, and so the fact that I was able to draw it again is... Ooh! Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know if I have any characters with an orange and blue. Do I? Maybe. I don't know. I feel like you guys know my characters better than I do. One thing that I really struggled with this character is figuring out how to draw the hair. I really wanted to show off the facial expression that I had in mind, which, by the way, holy fuck, it was... I struggled so much with it, and I think in the end it looks okay, but oh my god. I don't know why it was such a difficult thing for me to draw that day. Normally I'm fairly good at drawing that type of stuff, but here we are. Struggling a lot. But anyways, the hair is very, very shaggy. The bangs of this character hang in their face quite a lot. So I had a hard time finding the balance of the longer bangs and showing the expression. I think in the end it looks okay. But again, like, I'm always worried about making the character look like somebody's character. When it comes to drawing people's OCs, I just get a lot more nervous about it because I really want to do their character justice. And of course, there are stylistic differences, like that changes how we draw the same character, but I always get nervous of like, if I make like a stylistic change, like if I just change something to fit better with my art style, people will be like, that was an important part of the character, you dick. So, sorry if the super shaggy bangs were very important, but I still tried to keep it as much as possible, but I didn't want to block the face too much. I also had a little bit of a hard time getting the hair color down. The picture that this person posted had a variety of pictures of this character, which is really great for finding references, but also they were colored with different materials. On one picture, the hair looked a lot more scarlety, and on the other picture, it looked a lot more orangey, and I wasn't sure how bright and vibrant and also how red to make the hair. In the end, I decided to go with something a little bit more red. In the picture where their hair looked a little bit more scarlety, that looked more like a finished illustration with like the proper character colors, whereas the other ones were more of just like you color with colors that are close enough, as we all often do. At least that's the vibe I got, so I decided to go with the more scarlety hair. And then at the very last minute, a detail that I didn't remember to put in, so I tried to put in. It looked like behind the ears there was like some brown, like brown fur fluffiness, but I didn't draw that. So I tried to kind of put it in there last minute by making like some brown fur patches up their ear. I don't know if it worked, but that's what I did. And then at this point I was starting to struggle with making background elements. I started doing one thing with vertical stripes, and then I realized that's basically just what I did with the last one, so I didn't want to do that. So in the end I ended up with what you're probably seeing now. I think it's interesting. I like it. So I hope you do too. Thank you so much for letting me draw your character, and thank you for submitting. And lastly, we have this drawing from Johnny Cakes. Now, the moment I picked this character, I literally, like the moment I picked it and saw this character, the first thing I said was, oh hell yeah. If there's anything you need to know about me, I love edgy characters. If a character is even a little bit remotely at all a tiny bit edgy, I'm in love with them. So the moment I picked this character, ya boy was hype. The only poses I could really come up with this one was a full body, which I was trying to avoid. But it's fine. It's like we started with a full body, we ended with a full body. It works out, I think. But after seeing the reference image that the artist provided, I just got really inspired by that. I really liked that sort of sitting pose with like the arm resting on one of the knees. So I changed the angle a bit, changed like the facial expression, I guess. I did. I changed the facial expression. I really liked the pose, so I wanted to just kind of like was that the third one? Just wanted to put my own spin on it, like one of the other ones in this video. Immediately right off the bat, I knew I was gonna have a hard time drawing the smoke from the cigarette. I don't draw cigarettes, because gross. But as a result, I don't draw smoke a lot. Like ever. I gave it my best shot. Does it look like smoke? No. But did I try? Yeah. So, yeah, there we go, moving on. Out of all of the characters, this one was the easiest to color. As I'm sure you can imagine, the color scheme is just grayscale, which is very easy. It makes it very convenient for coloring. I color swatched one of the dark gray / black tones, and then after that, I just adjusted the colors ever so slightly to make those tone differences. Then boom, there we go. Another part of this character that I struggled with quite a bit was the fur coat. Now I know for a fact that I have characters that have fur in their design. You'd think I'd be better at drawing it, but I'm not. I don't know, again, I think it looks fine. Does it look like fur? Maybe. Did I try? Yeah. It's another one of those things that I definitely need to study. I think in the end it looks like a material, so that's a win, I guess. I also debated whether or not I wanted to keep the knife in the drawing, mostly just because, I was concerned he was gonna stab himself in the leg, but I figured, fuck it, we'll just put it in there. I believe in the caption of the post that excellent wording, Oliver. I believe in the caption of the post, the artist said that they're an assassin, so that's fun. I also decided to forego all of the blood because I don't draw blood, just because I don't know how. If I did know how, there probably would have been blood in this drawing, but alas, I do not, so no blood for you. But also, as you'll see later, I did make the background element more red, just to kind of tie in that red color a little bit more. On the actual character themselves, the only color red is the eyes, so I wanted to bring that in a little bit more elsewhere, so that's what I did. Also, to tie in the red color, I ended up making both the shading and the highlights more of a red tone. Now, I didn't start off that way. That was more of a last-minute decision. Sometimes, at the end of a drawing, I always like to play around with the hues of the color that I shade with and do my highlights with. It was on that stage that I decided making them both red would be another way to help tie that in. Because there is, like, a lot more red in the original drawing because of the blood, I wanted to kind of bring that color palette over to this one, and that was the best way I knew how. It's been a very long time since I've made the shading of a drawing and the highlights of a drawing the same color, but hey, it works for this one. I think the most difficult part about this drawing, aside from the smoke and the fur, I think it was just finding contrast. Having a grayscale character can be kind of difficult because if something is all black and white, you have to really define the different tones in order to have that contrast. And yeah, there are characters and people in real life who wear all black, but I guess it's my personal preference to have a little bit more contrast, so I did my best to get that here without altering the hues too much, which I think I did okay with. I also got super lazy with drawing two different shoes, so I literally just copied and pasted. I mean, one of them is mostly behind the legs, so it doesn't really matter, and honestly, I'm not even sure you can tell a whole lot that it's the same shoe. Just don't look at it too long because then you'll totally be able to tell. At this point, I was really trying to power through because, like I said in the intro, I had a different video planned, so I literally had to halt all other production and be like, okay, we got shit to do, we gotta do this 100k celebration. So I was trying not to feel too worn out. Don't worry guys, by the way, I'm okay. A lot of you guys are gonna be like, don't overwork yourself, don't worry about it, take breaks. I'm fine, I promise you. So don't even worry about it. Once I was finished with all of it, I added, I believe, 2 more gradients over everything, so then that way it would go over the smoke that I put in the background. 1 more multiply layer, 1 more shine layer, and then boom, edgy characters done. Hope you enjoyed. I had a lot of fun drawing them. Thank you so much for submitting. And there we have it. Those are the 5 characters that I ended up drawing for you today. Zola, why do you always want to eat when I'm filming? That's rude. After I picked the characters I'd be drawing in this video, I looked through the tag, and you guys have a lot of fun characters. Obviously, since I only made 5 drawings in this video, many of you did not get picked, and I hope that that doesn't discourage you from continuing to share your art with me, because I love seeing it. We love sharing art in this household, so keep that up. There are definitely a lot of characters that I would have also loved to draw, but can only do so much. So overall, I'm really happy with how all of these drawings turned out, and I hope that you guys like them too, both the owners of these characters and the casual viewer of this channel. Hope you like them. And also, I do want to say really quick, I'm going to be leaving links to all of the original artists down below. I'll be linking their Instagram accounts, so if there's a character that you liked in this video, or art that you liked in this video, feel free to check the description and go give them some love. I'm sure they'd appreciate it. But that's about all I have for you today, so if you liked this video, if you liked the art I made, or if you liked any of the characters in here, if you like any of the other art that was not by me, feel free to give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below which one was your favorite. I'd definitely love to hear it. Like I said in the intro, this is part 1 of a 2-part 100,000 subscriber celebration. Obviously this one's closed because the video's finished, but if you still want to participate, head over to my Instagram and look for this post. That tag is still up and running and free to post in, so go over there if you still want to participate. And if you are new here, hello, my name is Oliver. Don't know why you watched the video of me celebrating 100,000 subscribers and talking like you've been here when you haven't been here, but if you are new here, consider subscribing. Join the family. We'd love to have you. I share a lot of my art and a lot of my characters and stories on this channel, and we just have a fun time over here, so stick around. I'd appreciate it. And if you want to see more from me, you can follow me on social media, which will be linked on screen now in the description box below. Zola, your chewing is very distracting. I post my art to Instagram, and of course I host things like this on occasion, so if you want to be a part of that, go follow me over there. And there will also be some videos on screen now and linked in the iCard for you to check out if you want. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I really appreciate it. Love you guys. Thank you for 100,000 subscribers, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.